It's a new year and you want to improve your English. Well, I'm here to help you take your English from here to here. And let's make 2020 the year that you become an English master. I've got 5 habits that are going to help you do this. Recently, I read a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And ever since that, I have been a firm believer that habits are the key to success in anything that you do. So today, I'm going to apply some of the things that I learned from the book to English language learning. Now, before I talk about the 5 habits that are going to change your learning, I want to talk about how to make a habit stick. How to make sure that you can keep doing it over and over again. Because it's really easy to say, I'm going to run 3 times a week, but it's really hard to actually do that. So, in James Clear's book, he talks about the 4 rules of behavior change. The first rule is that you have to make your habit obvious. The second one is you have to make it attractive. The third rule is that you have to make it easy and convenient. And the fourth rule is that you have to make it satisfying. Okay, so let's explain those further. I'm going to put them into an example and develop the ideas for you. So, let's take the example that I want to start running 3 times a week. Okay. So the first rule was you have to make it obvious. You have to make this new habit obvious to you. So that's some kind of cue. It could be a visual cue, an audio cue, something like that. So for example, I'm going to put my running shoes by my bedroom door. So when I wake up and I open the door, I see the shoes there. Now this is the visual cue that I'm giving myself. Tom, you need to go running. Okay, so there's the visual cue, starts me off. The second thing is that you have to make it attractive. You have to want to do this habit. So, I bought myself a nice top to run in. Something that I really enjoyed putting on. It made me feel good and it made me want to go out running. Okay, so that's the attractive part. Now, rule 3 is that you have to make it easy or convenient. Well, I'm not going to go on a 20-mile run around the whole of London. No. There's a small park quite near me, about 5-10 minutes away. I'm going to run to that park and run around it a couple of times. Therefore, it's easy and convenient. If I need to come back to my house, I can. I'm not taking an hour journey to start running. No, it's 5 minutes away. And the last one is that it's satisfying. Well, I love coffee. I love having breakfast. So, the thing that I do is I go out for my run. The first thing I do, I start running, and then I come back and my reward is a beautiful cup of coffee. It's amazing. As I'm running, I'm thinking about that first cup of coffee. I can't wait to get home for it. So that's the satisfaction that I get at the end. Of course, I also feel great after the run, but you need something else maybe. So as you see, you have the habit, running, and then you have the 4 rules of behavior change. So all those 4 things are going to help me to keep doing this habit, to make it sustainable. And that's what we need to do with our English. We need to think about those 4 rules and apply it to the little things that we're going to do to make English learning a habit. Now, the one amazing quote that I took from this book was this: a habit is casting a vote for your future self. I'll say that again. A habit is casting a vote for your future self. So if you think about running, okay, maybe I want to lose weight. So I go for 1 run. Well, after that 1 run, I'm not any thinner. I haven't lost any weight. Okay. But if I make that a habit, if I do it over and over again, then in the future, I will lose weight. I will become fitter. I will achieve my goal. So the habit doesn't change you then, but it shows who you want to be in the future. Now, this can happen in a negative sense, right? So if you smoke every day, we know that smoking is bad for you. And so in the future, you will suffer the consequences of that cigarette. But 1 cigarette won't kill you, but over time, as a habit, you'll have health problems. So it can work both ways. I love that quote. It's a simple idea that it's saying, who do you want to be in the future? So every positive habit that we can form will make us a better person. Okay, my first habit, learn English for 10 minutes every day. Not 3 hours on a Monday and nothing for the rest of the week. No. 10 minutes every day. Make that commitment to yourself. Now, why do I think you should do 10 minutes? Well, it's achievable, okay? I think we can all find 10 minutes in the day to do something. I think it's sustainable as well. That means you can do it over and over again without quitting. It's not too much, right? It's not too long. It's a short amount of time, but it's really effective. Now, what could that 10 minutes be? Well, it could be anything. It could be sitting down with your favorite grammar book and doing 10 minutes of work there. It could be watching a YouTube English lesson like this one. Or another one could be choosing one of your favorite songs in English and then looking at the lyrics and looking at the vocabulary and learning new words from this song. So there are lots of different ways that you could do 10 minutes of English language. Now let's go through those 4 rules and apply it to one of these ideas. Okay, so let's say you're going to use a self-study grammar book for 10 minutes every day. So to make it obvious, what do? Well, you leave your grammar book somewhere that you cannot avoid it. Okay, so yeah, maybe on the floor by your bedroom door. So you see, okay, as soon as you wake up, you see that grammar book and you're like, okay, I need to learn my grammar today. Then we need to make it attractive. Well, find a comfortable space that you could go do that. Maybe you have a favorite place on the sofa. Maybe there's a lovely park bench near your house. Maybe it's in bed. I don't know where it is, but a lovely place that you want to be when studying English. Well, I think this is easy and convenient. You have the book, you're in your home, so you don't have to go anywhere. You could be right there. So that's easy and convenient. And then satisfying. Okay, so perhaps the satisfaction is the feeling that I learned something. Okay, that could be good. Maybe it's doing a little test at the end of the self-study grammar book and seeing how you did. And maybe if you get a good mark, that's a good feeling of satisfaction. Or maybe, like me, you want to reward yourself by making a cup of coffee or hot chocolate, or maybe having a piece of chocolate. Maybe then giving yourself 10 minutes on a video game, or giving yourself 10 minutes on Instagram. Whatever it is, think about the reward that you want to have at the end of this time and give yourself that and make it satisfying. So let's start with 10 minutes. If you can do more than 10 minutes, fantastic, but make it sustainable. If you start with an hour a day, and then by Thursday, you're like, I can't do an hour today, then maybe that's too much. Go back to 10 minutes. Habit number 2, immerse yourself in English. Really surround yourself with the language and you will start absorbing it without even thinking about it. Now, there are 2 really simple ways that you could do this. The first way is you could change your phone settings to English. So instead of having your native language, so then when you're on your phone, you'll be using English and absorbing it. Now think about how much time we spend on our phones. A lot of time, right? Maybe too much sometimes. So this is an amazing place to start practicing English and being around it. Another example could be your SatNav. So when you're driving around your town, your city, wherever you are, you could turn the language into English and you'll be directed by an English voice and you'll be used to hearing English every day. So 2 simple ways to immerse yourself in English. Habit number 3 is English input. That means that I want you to find some kind of source of English and to listen to it or watch it every day or every week if you prefer. So for example, I want you to go on to Netflix, I want you to find a new TV show and I want you to watch that TV show religiously every day. Now, I've done a video all about great British TV shows that you could watch to improve your British English. For example, Sherlock. It's a fantastic show and you could absorb so much English while watching it. For the younger viewers, maybe The In-Betweeners. It's a hilarious comedy, quite rude, but so good. And you're gonna get loads of natural everyday English, lots of slang words as well. I'm a huge fan of podcasts. So if you love football, for example, search for English podcasts about football on iTunes and you'll find so many examples. And as you are walking around your city, around your town, as you're on your bus journey or your train journey to work or school, you can listen to English. The BBC has so many resources that you could use. The BBC World Service, I personally love. I think it's an incredible resource. You could listen to the BBC World Service. And I think if you give yourself 30 minutes of English input every day, you're going to see a significant change in your ability to understand and to communicate. Okay, so habit number 4 is English output. So how can we now produce English? So we've absorbed it through immersion in habit number 2 and through input in number 3. How do we start to use it ourselves? Well, there are lots of different habits that we could form here. My favorite idea is that you have a friend who is also learning English or who wants to practice English, and you, instead of sending text to each other, you send voice notes. Okay, so you are recording your voice in English but you're just communicating as you would normally. Like, so hey, do you want to go to the cinema tonight? Or, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to be late, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Everyday communication that you would otherwise do in your own language, I want you to do it in English, and perhaps voice notes are the best way. WhatsApp is perfect for this. So find an English buddy. It could be a friend who is also learning the language, or maybe it's an international friend that you've met on travels or studying abroad. It could be anyone. It could be your mum or your dad, anybody. Just find someone to communicate with in English through WhatsApp. If that's too much work, then perhaps you could leave a comment on Instagram every single day in English. Okay, so find an Instagrammer that you love. It could be anything, could be makeup, it could be sport, fitness, English language, whatever, and leave a comment in English and be a part of the conversation, okay? Because people will reply to your comment, you can reply to other people's comments, and you are having a conversation in English, and it's no effort to you. All you need to do is leave one comment every day, and suddenly you'll be practicing English and using it. If you need more than that, then why not do a language exchange? When I lived in Spain, we called it an intercambio. So you find someone that wants to learn your language and you want to learn their language, and you sit down in a cafe for an hour, let's say, and for half an hour you can speak in your language, and in half an hour you can speak in their language, or however you want to do it. And it's a really fun, mutually beneficial way to practice speaking English in this case, or any other language in the other case. So I did it with someone in Spain, and we used to go for a hot chocolate every Sunday in this lovely little cafe. I would speak Spanish for half an hour with her, and then we would turn and we would speak English for another half an hour, and it was great fun. And also you get to make a friend, which is also really nice. Now all you need to do is search online to find a language exchange. And this could also be a part of the next one, which is meetups. Now meetup.com is a really fantastic website where people hang out with other groups of people depending on the interest that they have. So if you love speaking English, then there are English meetups, or if you love walking, there are walking meetups. And this is another great place to practice your English very naturally. So all these ideas can become habits depending on how often you do them and if you do them regularly enough. The fifth and final habit, this one came from an old colleague of mine in Argentina called Lisa, where she suggested that you put 5 new words or 10 new words that you want to learn on a piece of paper by your toilet, okay? Why by your toilet? Because we spend a lot of time there, or we can spend a lot of time there, and there's nothing else to do. So you put the words next to the toilet so that when you're there, you can pick up the words and you can learn them and test yourself and practice. And once you've learned these words, you can change the words. You can put another 10 words there. But it's a great way to learn English in a place that you wouldn't ordinarily think about learning English, but you spend some time there. Now I did this in Spanish, and I can tell you it works. And they become very memorable words because you remember where you learnt them as well. So a really nice technique to make learning memorable and make it a habit. Okay, so those are my 5 atomic habits for boosting your English in 2020. What I'd love to know in the comments below is which ones have you already made a habit, and which one do you want to make a habit? Okay, let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have any other suggestions for habits for learning English that you could share with the Eat, Sleep, Dream English community, I would love you to do that. And finally, I have a brand new addition to my lessons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to answer one question that you guys leave me in the comments below. Now, it's going to be the most popular question, okay? So if you have a question for me in English, leave the question in the comments below, and I want everyone else to vote for the one that they like, okay? And the one that gets the most likes, that is the question that I will answer in my next video. Alright guys, thank you so much. This is Tom, the Chief Dreamer, saying goodbye.